They begged me to make it quick. But mercy. Well, that's a word that means something different on a death world. Captain Jalen Cross had seen his share of monsters. Most wore flesh. Some wore insignias. But tonight, as he stood on the rust-red deck of the Eclipser, orbiting the dead moon of Chiron 5, he realized he might have just found both. The ship's prison bay was colder than space itself. Chains rattled in the dark, metal against metal, soft as whispers from ghosts. 2 prisoners knelt under flickering lights. Sisters, they said. Their wrists were bound, their backs scarred with lines that told stories no voice ever could. Their names were Ceres and Vea, and they weren't human. Their eyes, one blue, one gold, shimmered like fractured starlight. Beautiful, terrifying. And according to the Confederation logs, they were war criminals. Except Jalen didn't believe in that word anymore. Not after what the Confederation did to his planet. He stepped closer. You asked for me, why? Ceres raised her head, the sound of the chains dragging with her breath. You're the one they call Deathworlder, aren't you? Her voice cracked, but not from fear. The man who survived the collapse of Avaris? Jalen didn't flinch. That was a long time ago. Not long enough, she said. You watched your world burn, yet you still serve the ones who lit the match. He hated how her words found a home in his gut. The sisters were dangerous. That's what Command said. Reality benders, psychics, traitors. But in their voices, he heard something else. Regret, grief, humanity, whatever that word still meant out here. Vea looked up next. Younger, softer features, but eyes just as knowing. We don't want freedom, she whispered. Just make it quick. Jalen froze. The words hit harder than they should have. Make it quick. Like they'd accepted something he hadn't yet. He glanced toward the observation deck window, out into the black stretch of stars. Behind him, the hum of the ship felt louder. Almost alive. He remembered Avaris. The smell of smoke. The screams. The fire that swallowed oceans. He'd promised himself he'd never become like them, the ones who decided who lived and who didn't. Why should I? He asked quietly. Ceres looked straight at him, and for the first time he saw the faint shimmer of silver tears cutting through the dirt on her cheeks. Because, she said, if you don't, the thing they chained inside us will finish what it started. A cold pulse echoed through the deck, a vibration underfoot, like the ship itself shuddered in warning. Jalen took a step back. What did you just say? Vea's eyes flared golden for a split second. The lights dimmed. One of the monitors behind them sparked. Whatever they told you we are, she whispered. They lied. The sound of her chains tightened, not from movement, but from something else. Like an unseen force drawing them taut, and that's when the alarms began to wail. Red light flooded the chamber. Sirens screamed. The ship AI crackled to life. Containment breach detected. Level 5 anomaly. All units to Sector 9. Jalen's pulse spiked. He drew his sidearm, eyes darting between the sisters. Tell me what's happening, he barked. Ceres smiled through the chaos, not with joy but with a kind of sorrow that felt ancient. It's waking up, she said. What is? Her eyes glowed, brighter now. The thing that made us beg. The metal floor beneath them began to split, thin cracks spreading outward like veins of light. Jalen shouted, Shut it down, now! The lights flickered once, twice, then everything went dark. Just before the blackout swallowed the room, Ceres whispered one last thing. Make it quick, Deathworlder, before it remembers your name. Low hum, static crackles. Then the sound of a heartbeat, muffled and uneven. When the lights came back on, half the room was gone. Captain Jalen Cross woke up choking on smoke. The air stank of burnt circuitry and ozone. Sparks rained down from the ceiling like dying fireflies. He pushed himself up, coughing. His ears rang. The whole ship felt like it had been punched by a god. The sisters were still there, barely. Ceres lay against the wall, breathing shallow. Vea knelt beside her, one hand glowing faintly like her blood was made of starlight. Jalen blinked hard, trying to process what the hell just happened. The floor where they'd been chained, gone, just gone. Torn open into a black pit that hissed and pulsed like it was alive. Oh man, Jalen muttered, dragging himself to the console. Command's gonna kill me before whatever that thing is does. He tapped the comms, nothing, dead static. Great, love that. Real professional grade disaster here, Cross. Vea looked up, face pale but eyes steady. "It's awake," she whispered. "Yeah," Jalen said, voice dripping with sarcasm. "No kidding. I could feel that in my teeth." She didn't laugh. That unnerved him. Then the ship groaned like metal crying. A deep, low rumble rolled through the floor, the kind that made your gut twist before your brain caught up. Jalen turned to Ceres. "Talk to me." "What the hell is it?" She blinked slow, eyes flickering between gold and blue. "A memory," she said softly, "of what your kind did to ours. That one stung." "My kind?" "Lady, I don't even like my kind." Ceres actually smiled at that, just a small one. "Then you'll understand," she said. "When it remembers the rest." "Remembers the rest?" he echoed. "Yeah," Vea said. "It's not a weapon, Captain. It's trauma, buried so deep it became alive." He stared at them both. "You're telling me there's a living trauma monster inside my ship?" Ceres coughed, blood flecking her lip. "Something like that." Jalen rubbed his temples. "Oh, perfect, great. Guess I'm hosting an interstellar therapy session for space demons, huh?" "Ha ha ha, yeah, no pressure." He stopped laughing when the floor lights flickered again, this time forming shapes, patterns, circles, words he didn't recognize crawling across the walls in glowing script. "What the?" He stepped closer. "Is that writing?" Vea nodded, voice trembling. "Our language. Earth's remembering through us." A whisper swept through the air vents, like hundreds of voices speaking the same word in unison. "Avaris," Jalen froze. His blood went cold. "No, no, no, no. Don't you say that name." Ceres looked up at him. "It knows you, Deathworlder." His jaw clenched. "That's impossible." "Is it?" she said quietly. "How else would it find you first?" The whispers turned into a low roar. The walls started bending inward, like the ship was breathing. Jalen stumbled back. "All right, screw this." He pulled his plasma sidearm and aimed it at the glowing wall. "I'm ending this freak show right now." "Don't," Vea yelled. "If you shoot it, it'll wake faster." "I don't care," Jalen shouted. "I've seen enough monsters pretending to be memories." Before he could pull the trigger, Ceres reached out, her hand landing on his arm. He felt something, not pain, just warmth, a rush of memories not his own. He saw flashes, cities made of light, oceans of glass, people screaming as fire fell from the sky. And then a child, hiding, crying, watching everything she loved burn. He gasped, jerking his hand back. Ceres whispered, "That's what your people called victory." Jalen couldn't speak. His throat felt tight, his heart pounding. She wasn't lying. He could feel it. The grief, the loss, the rage. The ship groaned again, louder this time, almost angry. Vea grabbed his sleeve. "Captain, if you don't help us, if you don't listen, that thing will turn your ship inside out." He stared at her. Sweat rolled down his temple. His gun trembled in his hand. "What do I do?" he muttered. Ceres opened her eyes, glowing brighter now. "You have to go where it began," she said. "Where what began?" "The memory," she said. "Avaris," Jalen's breath hitched. He hadn't heard that word in 10 years. "Oh, hell no," he said. "We're not going back there." The ship's hull creaked again, like something ancient pressing from the inside. Ceres whispered, "You don't have a choice." They said going back to Avaris was suicide. They were wrong. It was worse. The Eclipser drifted through the void, engines coughing like an old smoker. Every light flickered in rhythm with the sister's pulse. Gold, blue, gold again. Captain Jalen Cross stood on the bridge, jaw tight, eyes locked on the dead coordinates of a planet that had haunted him for a decade. Avaris. Once, it was his home. Now, a graveyard wrapped in ash and silence. He didn't want to go back there. But the ship had other plans. The nav system glowed red, autopilot locked. Every time he tried to override it, the console just laughed in his face with a smug digital beep-beep. "Man, I swear, if this ship had a face, I'd punch it," Jalen grumbled. Vea smiled faintly from behind him. "It's not the ship doing it," she said. "It's the memory." "Yeah, well, memory can kiss my ass," he muttered. Ceres stood near the observation window, staring out at the black expanse. "You can't outrun guilt, Captain," she said softly. He turned, shooting her a look. "Lady, I've made a damn career out of outrunning guilt." That got a small laugh from Vea. For a second, things almost felt normal. Almost. Then the ship screamed. Every alarm blared. Lights went blood red. The floor buckled under their feet. "What now?" Jalen yelled, grabbing the console. The ship AI flickered back to life, voice glitching like static. Anomaly detected. Source internal. Origin unknown. Unknown my ass, Jalen muttered. That's our uninvited guest waking up again, isn't it? Vea's eyes glowed brighter. It's feeding off the engines, she said. It's trying to remember faster. Jalen slammed a fist against the console. Well, tell it to chill. We ain't got time for therapy. Ceres turned toward him, face pale, eyes shining. It doesn't listen, Captain, it feels. It's connected to everything, us, the ship, even you. Me? Nah, I'm good. I didn't sign up for any cosmic group hug. Vea frowned. When it touched you, it marked you. It remembers through you now, he froze. Wait, what? Ceres nodded. You're part of its memory loop. That's why it won't let go. Jalen just stared at them. You're telling me this? Star-eating trauma ghost is using my brain as a hard drive. Basically, Vea said. Yeah, oh man. He rubbed his temples. I really should have retired after the Titan run. This is some grade A nightmare fuel. Suddenly the ship jolted. Gravity tilted sideways. Loose gear flew across the bridge. Ceres lost her footing. Jalen grabbed her arm before she hit the floor. Her skin was burning hot. Not warm and burning. Her eyes flashed bright gold and her voice layered. Two voices speaking at once. We're almost home. Home? Jalen said, backing away. Lady, that place is dust. But outside the viewport, something shimmered. Like the universe itself blinked. And then there it was, Avaris. The dead planet loomed in front of them, charred, split open like a cracked skull. Lightning crawled through its canyons, silent and bright. Earth shouldn't even exist, but it did. Alive, angry, waiting. Jalen's hands shook. His throat went dry. He could smell smoke again, phantom smoke, the kind that lived in his memories. Oh, hell, he whispered. You really brought me back here. Vea looked at him, guilt in her eyes. It wasn't us. Then she hesitated, just a second too long. Jalen caught it. Wait, what aren't you telling me? Ceres glanced at her sister. Silence, then a flicker of shame. Jalen's voice dropped. What did you do? Vea swallowed hard. We didn't just wake it. We led it to you, he froze. Come again? It needed an anchor, she said. A mind strong enough to survive it. To remember it. That's why it called you, Jalen. He felt his chest tighten. You used me. Ceres's eyes softened. We didn't have a choice. He laughed, sharp, bitter. Oh yeah, that line always makes it better. Didn't have a choice. Ha ha ha. Classic. He turned toward the window, breathing hard, fists clenched. You should have just told me. I could have... The ship groaned, cutting him off. Vea's voice trembled. It's here. What's here? He asked. The floor cracked. The lights flickered. Outside the viewport, something vast moved. A shadow beneath the clouds. Bigger than cities. Older than memory, Jalen whispered. Oh, no. No. You didn't just bring that thing back with us. Ceres looked at him, eyes glowing gold. We didn't bring it, Captain. She paused, voice breaking. We are it. They weren't lying. The sisters didn't have the monster. They were the monster. The bridge was a disaster zone. Smoke, alarms, half the control panels blown to hell. Jalen staggered through it, coughing, gun drawn, even though deep down he knew it was useless. What's a sidearm going to do against a damn cosmic god with trust issues? Okay, he muttered, pacing. Let's just take a second here. Nobody panic, all right? We're all friends, mostly. Probably. He glanced at Ceres and Vea. Their eyes were pure light now, gold and blue fire swirling together. No pupils, no fear, just power. The walls rippled like liquid. The ship's hull groaned, and for a split second, the stars outside bent inward, like the universe was taking a breath. Aw, man, Jalen said under his breath. You guys are seriously leveling up at the worst possible time. Ceres took a step forward, her voice layered again, a dozen echoes. It's not leveling up, Captain. It's remembering, Jalen frowned. Remembering what? How it died, she said. The lights went out. Total black and in the dark. A voice. Not Ceres, not Vea, something deeper. Ancient, hollow. Like it was speaking through every atom in the room. Avaris burned. You made sure of that. Jalen's breath caught. Oh no. No, don't you start this guilt trip horror story on me. He stumbled backward, grabbing a handrail. You think I wanted that war? You think any of us did? The voice didn't answer as it just laughed. Cold. The kind of laugh that sounds like broken glass. Then light returned, but not normal light. The whole ship was gone. They were standing in a ruined city, or what was left of one, Avaris. Jalen blinked, stunned. The air shimmered with heat. Buildings melted into dust. Ash fell like snow. Oh, hell no, he whispered. This ain't real. Vea turned to him, tears glowing gold on her cheeks. It's not the past. It's the memory. The one you buried. Jalen clenched his jaw. Lady, I buried a lot of memories. She stepped closer. Not this one. And then he saw it and a crowd running, screaming, his people. Soldiers dragging others into the street. The sound of gunfire. And himself, younger, standing in the middle of it all, uniform scorched, eyes dead. Ceres whispered, "This is what you call justice." "Stop," he shouted, voice breaking. "That wasn't me anymore." "I didn't know." The vision shifted. The younger Jalen turned, looking straight at him, through him. And he said the words Jalen hadn't heard in 10 years. "Make it quick." Jalen's stomach dropped. No, he remembered now. The civilians. The order. The command to end it clean. He thought he was saving them from pain. But all he'd done was silence their voices. He fell to his knees, trembling. "God! I thought I was doing the right thing." Ceres knelt beside him, her glow softening. "So did we," she whispered. He looked at her, confused. "What?" "We tried to save our world too," she said. "But when we fought back, it made us into this." Fragments of its rage, Vea spoke next, voice shaking. "We were the first minds it touched, the first memories it consumed." Jalen looked between them, realization dawning. "You're not two people," he said. "You're one," they finished. "Broken in half so the universe wouldn't remember us." He exhaled hard. "Well, congrats. Reunion's going great, huh? Ha ha ha. Oh man." It wasn't really funny. But sometimes laughing was all that kept you from screaming. Then the ground cracked. The sky darkened. The memory twisted. Cities folding inward like paper. A voice boomed again, deeper this time. "You remember, Deathworlder, now. Feel it." A force slammed into him, shoving him backward. His chest burned. His mind flooded with light. He saw everything. Avaris falling, the sisters dying, the Confederation covering it up. He screamed as raw, guttural. The sound tore through the illusion, shattering the memory around him. Suddenly, they were back on the ship. The alarm still blaring. Jalen collapsed to the floor, gasping, trembling. Ceres and Vea stood over him, their lights dimmer now, almost human again. Vea whispered, "It's not done yet." "It's still coming through." Jalen looked up at her. His voice was rough but steady. "Then we end it together." Ceres frowned. "You'd help us? After what we did?" He gave a tired, broken laugh. "I'm not helping you. I'm helping everyone that thing's about to crush." He pushed himself to his feet, limping toward the console. "Now tell me how to kill a god made of memories." Ceres looked at him, eyes flickering gold again. "You don't kill it, Captain," she said softly. "You forgive it." "You ever try forgiving a god that burned your planet?" "Yeah, didn't think so." The eclipser creaked like it was begging to die. Warning lights flared across every screen. Jalen stood in the command bay, sweat dripping down his temple, staring at the pulsating core display. Inside that glowing sphere, a storm of gold and blue energy, something moved. Something alive. Ceres and Vea were on their knees, hands clasped together, eyes closed like they were praying, or maybe merging. Jalen rubbed the back of his neck. "So let me get this straight. You want me to forgive the thing that turned my home into barbecue? That's your plan?" Ceres didn't open her eyes. "If you fight it, you feed it." He laughed, harsh, bitter. "Oh, that's cute. Maybe next you'll tell me to hug it out too." Ha ha ha. Man, this day just keeps getting better. The ship shook again. Panels exploded. A plasma pipe burst, spraying sparks. Vea shouted over the chaos, "It's coming through, Captain. It's using us to cross over." Jalen slammed his fist against the console. "Then close the damn door." Ceres opened her eyes, voice trembling. "You can't, it's already halfway here." The lights dimmed to black. The air got heavy, like gravity itself forgot how to behave. "And then," the voice came back. "Forgive us." "You forgave yourself first," Jalen froze. The sound wasn't just in the room, it was inside his head. He stumbled back, clutching his temples. "Get out of my mind." But the voice laughed. "We are your mind, Deathworlder. You built us." He saw flashes again, the burning skies, the children crying, the smell of ozone and smoke. His own hands, pulling the trigger, following orders, ending lives. He dropped to his knees, gasping. Vea screamed, reaching for him, but her hand passed through his shoulder, like she was fading. Ceres looked up, eyes blazing gold. "It's taking him!" "Then stop it!" Vea yelled. Ceres shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "We can't. It's his turn to remember." Inside Jalen's mind, the world wasn't the ship anymore. He was standing in the ruins of Avaris again, only this time it wasn't ash. It was alive. The same cities, same sky, but before the fire, children laughing, markets buzzing. The scent of spice in the air, then he saw her. A little girl, red scarf, bright smile, running toward him. "Papa!" He froze. His throat went dry. No, that's not... But she hugged his leg anyway, warm and real. The same girl he'd seen in the memory. The one he couldn't save. His voice cracked. "You're not real." She looked up, smiling. "Then forgive me anyway." He dropped to his knees. His chest heaved. "I tried. I swear I tried to save you." She touched his face, whispering, "You can't save what you refuse to see." Then everything turned white. Jalen's eyes snapped open. Back on the ship. Ceres and Vea were screaming now, light pouring out of them like molten metal. The air was a storm of energy, swirling toward the ship's reactor. Jalen staggered up. "What's happening?" "It's merging," Vea shouted. "It's trying to become whole again." Ceres gasped. "Captain, if it completes, everything it remembers burns again." Jalen's pulse pounded. He ran to the console, slamming buttons. "There's gotta be a failsafe, some kind of..." The console exploded. He stumbled back, covered in sparks. Ceres grabbed his arm, gripping tight. "You can stop it." "How?" "Not with hate," she said. "With release." He stared at her, breath shaky. "You mean I have to forgive it?" She nodded. "Forgive yourself, and it will follow." He looked at her, at both of them. And for the first time, he didn't see monsters. He saw the same pain he carried, the same scars. He let out a shaky laugh. "Oh, hell, you two better be right about this." He closed his eyes, took a breath, and whispered, "I forgive you." The ship went silent. The air shimmered. The sisters' glow faded, from blinding light to soft warmth. For a heartbeat, it almost felt like peace. Then, the core exploded. A blast of energy tore through the ship, throwing Jalen across the deck. The sound was deafening. He hit the floor hard, blood in his mouth, vision fading. Through the smoke, he saw the sisters, fading away, bodies turning into light. Ceres smiled weakly. "You did it, Deathworlder." Vea added, voice soft as wind. "Now it's your turn." "My turn for what?" he rasped. Ceres's voice echoed one last time, half whisper, half wind. "To forgive yourself." And then they were gone. The ship drifted in silence. The lights flickered weakly. Jalen lay there, barely conscious, watching the stars spin outside. He chuckled, broken, tired, almost peaceful. "Ha ha ha. Yeah, sure. Easy part's done, right?" Funny thing about dying in space, it's never quiet enough to feel like peace. Captain Jalen Cross wasn't sure if he was dead or just having the worst hangover in the galaxy. Everything was white. Not glowing, not shining, just white. Like the color had given up trying to exist. He blinked a few times, groaning. "Oh, man, if this is heaven, somebody better fire the decorator." His voice echoed. No answer. No ship, no sound. Just him, floating, weightless, in what felt like an endless fog. He looked down, or at least tried to. His hands looked normal. No burns, no scars, even the blood on his uniform was gone. "Okay, Cross," he muttered. "Either you're dead or someone slipped you alien shrooms again." "Ha ha 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 ha." "Great." Then a voice, soft, familiar. "You're not dead. Not yet." He turned around and there they were. Ceres and Vea, the chained sisters. No chains now, no wounds, just calm smiles and light drifting from their skin. "All right," Jalen said, rubbing the back of his neck. "Gotta admit this is new." "You two always pop up when I'm unconscious or hallucinating?" Vaya giggled. "You never stop talking, do you?" "Hey," he shrugged. "It's my coping mechanism." Ceres stepped closer, her tone gentler. "You forgave us." He gave a small laugh. "Yeah, guess I did. Not sure it stuck, though. I'm still kinda mad." Ceres smiled. "That's okay. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's remembering without the fire." He tilted his head. "That sounds like something you'd find stitched. On a pillow, you know that. But her eyes, there was something different there. Softer, sadder. And for the first time since he'd met them, Jalen felt something strange. Peace. "Where are we?" he asked. Vaya turned slowly, her gaze sweeping across the endless white. "Between what was and what could be." He frowned. "Yeah, okay, that's nice and mysterious, but can we maybe translate that into English?" Ceres's voice grew quieter. "This is where the memory decides, whether it continues or lets go." "Let's go," he echoed. "Of what?" "You," she said. "Us everything." He blinked. "So you're saying the whole universe is on pause?" Vaya nodded. "Kind of. You hit the core so hard it stopped time in this region. You're inside the moment forgiveness was spoken." Jalen stared at them. "So, let me get this straight. I forgave you guys so hard I broke time?" Vaya laughed, covering her mouth. "Basically, yeah." "Ha ha ha, man. My therapist is gonna love this. Oh, wait. I blew her up with a planet. My bad." Then, Ceres's tone changed. Heavy. "But it won't last, Captain. The memory's unraveling. When it ends, one of two things will happen." He sighed. "Hit me. 1. Everything resets. The pain, the war, the destruction. Avaris burns again." He swallowed hard. "And 2. You let it end completely. Which means none of this ever existed. Us. The Eclipser. You." He stared at them. His throat tightened. "Wait, so if I choose peace, I vanish?" Ceres nodded. "You become part of what's next." He laughed, but it came out hollow. "Oh, come on, that's messed up. I just got to the part where I might actually sleep at night." Vaya's eyes shimmered. "Captain, it's okay." "No, it's not," he snapped. Then softer. "You don't just ask a man to forgive the universe and delete himself 5 minutes later." Ceres reached out, touching his arm. "You were never meant to carry all this alone. None of us were." He looked at her, really looked, and realized something. She wasn't the monster. She wasn't the enemy. She was just what happened when pain lived too long without love. He smiled faintly. "You know, for world-ending demigods, you two give pretty solid pep talks." Vaya grinned. "We learned from the best." "Yeah?" he said. "Who's that?" She pointed at him. Jalen chuckled softly. "Ha ha ha ha. Oh, you're definitely broken." Then everything started to tremble. The white began to fade, replaced by light, real light. Ceres whispered, "It's time." "Wait," he said. "Which one do I choose?" Ceres looked at him, and for the first time, her eyes were just eyes. No glow. Just human. "Choose peace, Jalen. Not because it's easy, but because it's enough." He opened his mouth to reply, but before he could, the light swallowed them whole. He shouted their names, reaching out, but his hand passed through empty air. Then blackness, a single heartbeat, and the faintest whisper in his ear. "Thank you, Deathworlder. They say when you die, your life flashes before your eyes, but nobody ever tells you what happens if you come back." "Captain Jalen," Cross gasped. The sound ripped out of him like he'd been holding his breath for centuries. He was lying face up on the cracked floor of the Eclipser, his ship or what was left of it. Smoke drifted from broken panels, and somewhere far off, a warning alarm blared faintly like a heartbeat that refused to quit. Wow," he muttered, blinking. "Okay, that's one hell of a hangover. Ha ha ha." His chest hurt, everything hurt, but he was alive. He slowly sat up, wincing. "Ceres? Vaya, you there?" Silence. Just static on the comms. For a second, panic hit him like a gut punch, the kind that makes your ribs ache with more than pain. But then something felt different. The air wasn't heavy, the shadows didn't hum, the whispers, gone. The war, the chains, the screams, all of it, gone. He stood, wobbling like a drunk cowboy. Huh, so that's what peace feels like. Weird. Outside the viewport, he expected to see debris, maybe the burning remains of Avaris. Instead, the stars were bright. No dust storms, no radiation belts, just quiet beauty. For the first time in his life, the universe looked like it wasn't trying to kill him. He laughed under his breath. Well, I'll be damned if I actually did it. He found his way to the console, flicked a few dead switches. The ship responded, sluggish but alive. A green light blinked faintly, a signal. Wait, no way. He leaned closer. It was a transmission, a single message, one line. Thank you. He stared at it for a long time, smiling like an idiot. Oh, man, you two really went full poetic on me, huh? Then he chuckled softly. You're welcome, ladies. Anytime. He took a shaky breath and slumped back in the captain's chair, looking out at the stars. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was peaceful. And that scared him more than any monster ever had, because for the first time, there was no fight left to win. No one left to save. Just life. He exhaled, long and slow. All right, universe, he said quietly. What now? As if on cue, a tiny blip appeared on the scanner. A ship, small, civilian, alive. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, he grinned. Can't even get 5 minutes to nap. He toggled comms. This is Captain Jalen Cross of the Eclipser. Respond if you're... A crackle interrupted him. Then a young woman's voice came through, panicked. This is the Calypso. We've lost power. We're drifting toward the burn zone. Please, someone... He closed his eyes, shook his head, laughing softly. Ha ha ha, yeah, okay, I get it. He flipped the thrusters on, the ship groaning like an old hound waking up from a nap. The engines coughed, then roared. Outside, the stars stretched as the Eclipser turned toward the signal. All right, Calypso, he said with a grin. Let's see if we can cheat death one more time. As the ship accelerated, his reflection shimmered in the cracked glass. For just a second, he saw them, Ceres and Vea, smiling, watching, then gone. He whispered, Guess mercy really was the deadliest weapon, huh? Make it quick, Deathworlder, they'd said. And he had, but not the way anyone expected. He didn't destroy, he forgave, and somehow that changed everything. Maybe that's the trick. Maybe it's not about winning. Maybe it's about stopping long enough to remember why we fight at all. And if mercy's the thing that ends a war, then yeah, guess I'll keep making it quick. And that's how mercy became the deadliest weapon of all. If you made it this far, hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, 'cause the next story might just be the one.